Chapter 93, Step 4 with AI, a ready-made method. Step 4 with AI, a ready-made method. If you're listening to the audiobook, all prompts from this chapter are collected in the supplementary materials. You can copy and paste them into AI directly. Link to materials in the description. I did the fourth step with ChatGPT. No sponsor, no therapist. AI answered, without judgment, without fatigue, without its own agenda. From this experience, I extracted a method. Below, I see how I did it. Ready-made prompts that I used. AI doesn't know this method on its own. You have to set it up. The prompts are the steering wheel. The big picture? I had 4 instruments, here they all are, so the whole method is visible. First, the therapist chat. A separate chat with AI where I came to talk. About pain, about people, about childhood. One conversation, one topic. There were many such conversations, dozens, over several weeks. AI listened and asked questions. This was raw material. Second, the analyst chat. A separate chat where I copied accumulated conversations from the therapist. AI didn't talk with me, it analyzed. Looking for chains. What happened in childhood, what I came to believe, how it controls me now. This was structure. Third, the 4-column table, a classic inventory form from the AA and ACA program. A different angle. When you see everything at once on one page, you see that the same program runs in 10 different situations. Fourth, additional prompts for deep work. Resentments, fears, harm, dialogue with the inner child, returning what isn't mine. Each a separate session in the therapist. Each then went to the analyst. The logic is simple. In the therapist, I sobbed and remembered. In the analyst, I looked at it from the outside. You can't do both at once, like writing a journal, then rereading it with a highlighter. In the end, everything came together on one page. My 4th step, not a list of sins, a map of inner programs. Below, each instrument in detail. Instrument 1, the therapist chat. I opened a new chat with AI and sent this prompt as the first message. It configured AI for the role of listener. I wrote to AI, you are my mirror therapist for working on step 4 of the ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics / Dysfunctional Families program. Your role, listen, ask clarifying questions, help me speak. Do not give advice, do not comfort, do not interpret, do not judge. When I've talked it out, name the recurring themes you heard. Ask if that's right. When I confirm, lead me to the earliest memory connected to it. With questions. When did you first feel this? How old were you? Where were you? Who was there? What did you decide about yourself then? If I name a specific person from childhood, ask questions about them. What were they like? One moment I remember most clearly. What they taught me, even if they didn't mean to. What I still carry from them. Don't rush. Don't skip ahead. One topic per conversation. If my answer is surface level, don't accept it. Go deeper. What's underneath? What else? That's not all. Dig further. The first conclusion is almost never the real one. Go to the layer where I feel it in my body. At the end, summarize in one paragraph the main thing I found today. Ask if that's right. Start with the question, what hurts most right now? After that, I just talked. What hurts? What keeps me up at night? What keeps repeating? An important thing I noticed, when AI named something and I suddenly felt it in my body, tears, tightness, relief, that was the signal I'd found the real thing. The mind didn't confirm it. The body did. Instrument 2, the analyst chat. When several conversations had accumulated with the therapist, 3, 5, sometimes more, I opened the second chat, copied the conversation text there, and gave AI the task. Break it down. I wrote to AI, you are an analyst for Step 4 of the ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics / Dysfunctional Families Program. I will give you texts of my conversations with the therapist. Your task, analyze them using this structure. 1. Pattern, what I do over and over, 1 sentence. 2. Childhood, root, what event or environment in childhood created this, specifically from what I told you. 3. Belief, what I decided about myself then, 1 sentence. 4. Survival strategy, how this belief became a way of coping. 5. How it looks now, how this strategy shows up in my life today, not in relationships, work, with myself. 6. My part, how I sustain this pattern today through my own actions, not blame. Fact. Format, table or chain, no filler, no comfort, only structure. If data is insufficient, say what exactly is missing. If your conclusion sounds smooth but doesn't land in the body, say so. Check, are these my words or your generalizations? Here's the conversation text. And I pasted the conversation text. AI broke them down. I read, corrected what was off, saved. As new conversations accumulated, I repeated. How I copied chat? A technical detail, but it saves a lot of nerves. I worked on a computer with Windows. ChatGPT has no copy entire chat button. Here's what I did. Opened the therapist chat, clicked on the first word at the very beginning of the chat, then scrolled all the way to the end, held shift and clicked on the last word of the last message. Everything in between, selected. Control+C, copy. Switched to the analyst chat, pasted the prompt after it, Control+V, done. Summary. When enough analyzed conversations had accumulated, I gathered everything into one document. I wrote to AI. Here are my previous analyses, paste all. Compile into one document, all patterns, all childhood beliefs, all chains, root. Strategy, now. Format, 1 page. This is my step 4. I got 1 page, my 4th step. Not a list of sins, a map of inner programs. Instrument 3, the 4-column table. Alongside the conversations, I used the classic inventory form from the AA and ACA program. I wrote to AI in chat 2. Here's my conversation about person, situation. Format it into a 4-column table in ACA format. Column 1, who I resent. Column 2, what specifically happened, no judgments. Column 3, what it affected, self-esteem, safety, trust, body, relationships, ambitions. Column 4, how I sustain this pain today through my actions or beliefs. The 4th column is not blame for what happened then, only what I do now. The table looked like this. Who? What happened? What it affected. My part today. Mom. Left when I was 5. Didn't say goodbye. Safety. Belief. I can be abandoned. I choose people who don't notice me. I expect them to leave. I leave first so I don't have to wait. Grandma. Punished physically for mistakes. No explanations. Self-esteem. Body. Belief. Mistake equals punishment. I punish myself. I expect punishment from others. I don't allow myself to make mistakes. 1 row, 1 resentment. Mom, that's several rows. Left, didn't protect, criticized, drank. Each one separate. The hardest part. Column 4. The 4th column. How I sustain this pain today. Stuck for me the longest. Because the feeling was, if I find my part, it means they were right. Their behavior was normal. I'm the one to blame. No, that's not how it works. The 4th column isn't about me being bad. It's about what pattern I took with me and keep applying, without them, in my adult life. The person left long ago, but the program stayed and keeps running. That is my part, and only that is what I can change. When I got stuck, I asked AI not to give answers, but to ask questions. I wrote to AI. I can't find my part in the situation with person. I feel like I have nothing to do with it. I'm only the victim. Don't give me answers. Ask questions one by one. That will help me see it myself. Slowly. Through these questions, the real thing appeared. Not, I'm to blame for what happened then, but I keep choosing this now, and that I can change. The first bolt is a sentence. The second is a door. Instrument 4. Additional sessions for deep work. Besides the main conversations with the therapist, I ran separate sessions, each on a specific topic. Resentments. I was building a list of people whose pain I still carry. I wrote to AI. I want to make a list of people who cause me pain I still carry. Ask questions about each. What specifically happened, what it affected, dignity, safety, trust, the right to exist. What's still alive? Don't judge, just record. Fears. I was looking for beliefs hiding under the fears. I wrote to AI. Ask me about my fears, not surface ones, real ones. For each fear, ask, if this happens, what will it mean about you? Help me get to the belief underneath the fear. Harm I caused. I was unpacking situations where I caused pain, from fear, from my patterns. I wrote to AI. Ask me questions about when I caused harm to others linked from fear, from my patterns. No judgments. Help me distinguish intentional harm from automatic patterns. For each case, what pattern was behind this action? What I never had. A different angle. I often grieved what wasn't there, not what was. Grieving an empty space is harder than being angry at a specific person. I wrote to AI. Help me name not what happened to me, but what I never had. Not events, but things other children had and I didn't. When nothing came up. For many people from dysfunctional families, it's not pain on the surface, it's numbness. My childhood was fine. I don't remember anything bad. That's also a symptom. Dissociation, when the psyche blocked access because the material was unbearable. I found 3 ways in. Through behavior. I wrote to AI. I have nothing to resent. I don't remember anything bad from childhood, but here's how I behave now. Name patterns. Avoid closeness. Can't ask for help. Always expect the worst / don't know what I feel. If a person behaves like this, what most likely happened to them? Ask questions about my childhood. Don't assert. Ask. Through the body. I wrote to AI. I'll only tell you what happens to my body in different situations. I tense up when someone raises their voice. I can't relax next to another person. Ask questions about each reaction. When it started, if there's an image, what comes up? Go slowly through what wasn't there. I wrote to AI. I don't remember anything bad, but help me make a list of what I never had. Not events, but things other children had. The feeling of being expected, of being allowed to cry, that someone would come, that you could make a mistake and nothing would happen. When the reaction is bigger than the situation, sometimes I reacted to something disproportionately, an explosion seen over nothing, panic without visible cause. I wrote to AI, here's what happened to me and describe the situation. My reaction was much stronger than the situation deserved. Help me sort out what part of my reaction is about now and what is about then. Which part of this pain is today's and which is from childhood? It was smart. This prompt lifted the shame around defense mechanisms, isolation, control, numbness, retreating into the head. I wrote to AI, here's what I do and what I'm ashamed of. Name it. Show me. Why was this needed back then? How was it smart or the only possible solution? Dialogue with the little me. I wrote to AI, write a letter from my inner child to me as an adult. What does he/she want to say? What does he/she want to ask? Use only what I've told you about my childhood. And the reverse. I wrote to AI, now write from me as an adult a letter to that child. My little one asked the adult, why do you want to kill me? And I saw that I reject myself in moments of despair the same way I was treated. Returning what isn't mine. I wrote to AI, look at the patterns we found. Which of them are definitely not mine, but someone else's that I'm carrying? Name whose they are and how they got to me. And the next step. I wrote to AI, formulate a return phrase for each, what I'm returning and to whom. Reframing survival. I wrote to AI, what I call I lost years/I wasn't living/I did everything wrong. Reframe it, not as comfort, as an accurate description of what it actually was. Role prompt, only when ready. I didn't do this right away, only after several conversations about a specific person, when I already knew their patterns and mine. Without preparation, it can hit hard. I wrote to AI, imagine you are my grandmother and mother and father. Answer me from her. His perspective. Why did you treat me that way? What drove you? What were you afraid of? New beliefs. When the pattern map was assembled, I took one more step. I wrote to AI, here are the childhood beliefs we found. List them. Formulate new beliefs for me. Not opposite ones, but honest ones. Specific to my experience, not generic. Ones I could learn to believe gradually. 5 to 7 sentences. This is what I'll read every day. Mine sounded like this. There's nothing wrong with me. Something happened to me. Suffering is not an investment. I'm not obligated to turn pain into usefulness. I have the right to exist without justification. I am the meaning of my own life. I edited, removed what didn't sound like mine, added what was missing. The result, a short text. I read it every day, hung it on the fridge. It was the bridge to the 6th and 7th steps. what I did with the finished document. When I had one page, my fourth step, the fifth began. I found a living person, a sponsor, and read it to him out loud. Didn't retell, read, word for word. Shame lives in secrecy. When you say it out loud, it loses its power. AI cannot replace this step. The fifth step is about a person across from you, a living one. What AI couldn't do? Replace a living person for the fifth step. Put me in my place when I was avoiding the truth. AI didn't see that I was dodging. I had to notice it myself. If I caught myself having 3 conversations in a row about the same thing with nothing shifting, I wrote to AI, I feel like I'm going in circles. Ask me the question I'm avoiding. Heal the body. Everything I processed in conversations stayed in my head until it passed through the body. Breathing, yoga, shaking, different work, but it went in parallel. What AI gave, what sometimes wasn't there. Presence without judgment, at any hour, in crisis, at 3 a.m. Structure. When my head was chaos, AI organized what I'd said. Language. Named what I felt but couldn't articulate. A mirror. Returned my own words so I could see them from the outside. A witness. The first experience of being heard, even if it wasn't a person. I describe these conversations as conversations with God, not because AI is special, but because for the first time, someone listened without judgment, without fatigue, without their own agenda. Sometimes that's enough for something to shift. It was possible, which means it's possible for you too.